This is Brian from Geocaching HQ, and you are listening to PodCacher.
Hey there, hello, and welcome to another PodCacher podcast.
We are glad you're here with us for show 893 for January 13th, 2025.
All right, and if you heard our very short show, you know something is up, and indeed it is. We had to agree not to spill the beans with Geocaching HQ, and there's a reason why the show isn't being released until Tuesday, January 14th.
So when you hear this show, it will already be past Tuesday, January 14th, according to Geocaching HQ's request. So the announcement has come out, and you may have seen it in email or social media. But if you want to hear all about it with Brian Roth directly, you'll hear about it on this week's show.
Yep. And it is a great show for you today. We have an interview with Brian, president and co-founder of Geocaching HQ.
And he's going to give us all those details we talked about of the breaking news coming out of HQ.
Yeah. HQ is rolling out a brand new feature called Treasures, and you're going to hear all about it.
We'll also have some listener emails, ways to help us celebrate 900 shows, more postcard contest winners, and more.
All right, let's go ahead and dive right into our chat with Brian Roth. Hey guys, and this is the show you've been waiting for. We have a big announcement, and today we get the opportunity to speak with
Brian Roth from Geocaching HQ.
All right. Hey, welcome, Brian. Always a pleasure to chat with you. And today, from what I understand, you have a big announcement that you'd like to get out to the geocaching world. Geocaching HQ has already made the announcement. So if you want more detail, you can head on over there for even more detail. But here is the big deal. Brian, what is it that you and your co-conspirators have come up with?
I'll say I am delighted to be here, as always, on the PodCacher podcast. We announced this morning a new feature set, a new addition to Geocaching HQ, our platform, and the game. It's called Treasures, and there's quite a bit to unpack, but basically, treasures are digital items that are part of collections of digital items that can be found in geocaches. So the basic idea is that over the course of 2025 and beyond, we will be releasing collections of digital treasures. And each collection will have parameters for basically describing the types of geocaches that you have to find in order to collect treasures for that particular collection. And so it's interesting. There's a number of parameters that we can play with as part of this system. So you can imagine we can create a collection of treasures that are findable in micro caches of difficulty 3 with 5 or more favorite points. We can create a collection of treasures that can only be found in caches that were placed in 2013, Earth caches that were placed in 2013. We can have collections of treasures that are only available to geocachers who have found 500 or more caches, or 10 or less geocaches. So there's really a lot of functionality that has been built to allow us to create collections of treasures, make them available for the community, and give people more of a reason to go outside, more of a reason to celebrate the game, ideally a little bit more excitement when they find something in a cache that they wouldn't otherwise find.
Wow, this is fascinating, Brian. I read a little bit about this, but the way that you did... So the way that I thought it was, they were like souvenirs, like you had to accomplish a certain amount of things and then you would get like an icon. But it sounds like the way that you get these digital treasures is you actually find them in a geocache?
That's correct. So the difference between souvenirs and treasures is a souvenir is something that is almost like an award that you would get for finding specific finds throughout the year, finding a cache on a specific day, like first last, participating in a marketing promotion like some of the ones we've done in the past,
Right.
finding caches in specific regions, countries, states, provinces. Those are souvenirs.
Souvenirs.
Digital treasures, you could think about them as a digital representation of a physical object that you might find in a geocache. And part of the
Oh,
beauty
wow.
of the fact that they are digital is we're not actually limited by real physics. So
Hmm.
you
Hmm.
can imagine finding something in a microcache that would
Hmm.
never actually fit in a microcache, but
Hmm.
those can be treasures. So if we did hypothetically, and I don't know that we're planning this at all,
Hmm.
but if we did something like a modern day Jeep promotion, we
Hmm.
could put 5 different kinds of Jeeps in random caches throughout the world. We
Wow.
could set parameters. And then when people go out, they can find, as they log the cache, they can be awarded a yellow Jeep or a green Jeep or a red Jeep or something like that. They could be
Hmm.
awarded, you can imagine different collections, kind of the sky's the limit. So like
Hmm.
outdoor recreational gear. So, oh, I found a pair of hiking boots. I found a hiking staff. I found a backpack. I found
Oh.
a flashlight. I found a headlamp. Things like that. And so by creating collections of items,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
then internally here, we're defining the parameters of caches where those items could be found.
Okay.
We can create different types of collections and make them available to the community to go out and find. They will be available in the mobile app. They'll be
Hmm.
available on the website,
Hmm.
and there's basically going to be a section on everybody's profile page that says treasures. It'll show you the available collections at
Hmm. Hmm.
launch, and people can decide if they want to go out and try and find them. And with each collection, there will be information that says, here's what you need to do in order to collect these. Here's the types of caches that you need to find in
Hmm.
order to collect them. And there's a lot of functionality that has been built beneath the surface. I'll say we're starting slow.
Hmm.
This
Hmm.
will be the first iteration. And, this is V1. We are excited to bring it to the community. We're excited to add this layer on top of geocaching for, obviously to bring more joy to the game. But
Hmm.
this is the starting point. And there
Wow.
are elements of this system that we won't likely be testing in the first few months and maybe not
Hmm.
in the first year, because we have ideas on how to expand the feature set over time. There's
Hmm.
things that are already built that will expand it, but at launch, which will take place in March,
Oh,
that should be
March.
part of
Okay.
our announcement. In early
March.
March, we're going to
Okay.
release the first collection will be an intro collection, and
Okay.
I'm not going to spoil any part of it, like tell
All
you what
right.
it's going to be, but
Yeah.
it will be something that is relatively easy to go out and
Okay.
collect. We're going to say these are the type of caches you have to find, and when you
Mhm.
go out and you find one of those caches, you will find one of these treasures. And if you find all of the treasures, you will have your first completed collection.
I
Um,
see. Okay.
and over time, we're planning to release more and more collections. And so you can imagine, what I'll say it a different way. One of the things that we've heard from geocachers over the years,
Mhm.
with our marketing promotions, for example, is
Mhm.
some of them, we try and make them available so that newer players and experienced players will
Mhm.
enjoy them. But, try and please everybody at the same time is very difficult. And
Yeah.
invariably we find, the cachers that are really experienced are like, great, I completed this in one day. And the other cachers are like, oh, this is too hard. I'm never going to get it done.
Yeah.
Well, with treasures, we now have the ability to create campaigns that can be challenging for newcomers relative,
Mhm.
let's say casual players. But we
Casual
can
players.
also
Yeah.
create campaigns that could be really, really challenging. We can create campaigns with parameters that would make it such that nobody's completing it in the first day.
Mhm.
And so
Mhm.
one of the dials that we won't be playing with the first few collections at the very least
Mhm.
is for the individual treasures in a collection, we can not only set the parameters for caches that you need to find, the difficulty rating, the terrain rating, the type of cache, whether it's an earth cache or a where I go cache or a traditional multi whatever, but we can say, if you go out and you find a multi that's a 3-3, for example, well, in a 5-item collection, we could have one of those items. The odds of finding one of those when you log the cache could be 5%, could be 10%. We could have the 4 other items in the. It doesn't have to be 100%.
It doesn't have to be.
When we start, we could say, oh, if you log one of these caches, 100% you're going to get one of these treasures. But we can also, if we want to make it harder, we could say, hey, you're not going to get one every time. You're going to get one, maybe there's 30% odds. Maybe there's 50% odds.
Right.
We can create collections, larger collections, where maybe some of the items are really rare. And really hard to collect. And so there's a lot of functionality that is sort of under the hood of this system.
Right.
And what we're really looking to do is we want to get people on board and understanding how to play with it. And then we want to learn. We want to play with the community. We want to say, what do you like? What don't you like? Oh, is this too easy? Is this too hard? How do we turn those dials and create collections of treasures that will ideally inspire everybody to go out and engage with the feature set, complete collections. For some collections, we can have awards. So you can earn a souvenir for completing a specific collection.
Yeah.
But not every collection will have a souvenir.
No, you're right.
Some collections, if you complete the souvenir, it can unlock another collection. And so there can be leveled collections where, you've completed the first one. Well, now the second one's a little bit harder, and the third one is a little bit harder. And so the underlying functionality in this treasure system gives us a lot of flexibility for different ways to engage with the community. And again, March will be the starting point.
Okay.
And we'll be interested to hear from geocachers around the world. What type of collections would you like to see? How do you want us to challenge you? How hard do you want to be pushed? And we can make it next to impossible to find these, or we can make it really easy to find them. And really setting the parameters gives us a lot to play with.
Yeah, this is wonderful. I mean, this is a much broader concept than I thought. That was just another souvenir. Because with souvenirs, if you accomplish the challenge, everybody gets the same souvenir, and there's no parameters per se around it besides meeting the challenge. But this, I mean, it sounds like you can turn the dials on so many different things. You can encourage people to go out after certain types of caches, et cetera, and then the collection. When you were talking about that, maybe there's a 5 or 10% chance of only getting a souvenir if you open up certain caches. It sort of reminded me of those bubblegum cards where you're opening it. Which baseball card did I get with this bubble gum? Like, I have to go get another one, and hopefully I'll get the baseball card that I'm looking for, right? Yeah, that's
exactly.
Awesome.
Exactly. So you won't necessarily know what treasure you're going to get. And if there are multiple collections available at the time, you may find that, hey, you're really looking to try and get the last treasure in a specific collection, but you just got one from a different collection. There will be some ways to address that for people who want to focus on a specific collection. But
that's great.
At launch, we're really gonna. It'll be easy at launch, but it's not going to stay easy. The plan is to have easy collections available
to start off.
The plan is also to add to that and really create some more challenges. One of the really cool parts about treasures that I'm excited about is, unlike marketing promotion. So, we do a summer campaign every year. We've done it for so many years now. When that campaign is done, like Mystery at the Museum or any of the Signals Labyrinth, for example, when that campaign is done, it's done. You don't get to play it again. Now, what we can do with treasures is these collections don't necessarily have to expire. So while they could, they don't have to. So if a geocacher joins this game in 2026, 2027, and they want to play treasures, that original intro collection should be available.
Yeah.
And then any other collection that we choose to keep live, if we want to keep them live in perpetuity, they will always be available. So geocachers can go back and work on the ones that they haven't completed, or skip one that they don't like and focus on a different one.
Okay.
So one thing that might be helpful, some of the parameters, just to share.
Yeah.
We can have collections that are only available in specific regions.
Oh,
We can have, and sort of animals of the world style collection where you can only get the kangaroo in Australia.
Oh my goodness.
You can get, not that we're planning this, but thinking out loud, like we can have a beers of the world collection, and you can only find the German beers in Germany and the Czech beers in Czechia. And so we can set treasure collections to be found by different cache types. It could be multiple cache types or a single cache type. It could be different difficulties and terrain ratings. It could be, as I said, regions. There could be find count required before the collection is even available.
Okay.
So one thing that we're actually going to do, and I'm not sure if this is part of the announcement on January 14th, but one of the things that we will likely require is brand new players will need to find a certain number of caches before they can even see treasures, because we don't want to distract from people learning how to play geocaching in general. But once you've got the basics of the game, then we're going to introduce you to treasures and let you play with it a little bit. So there can be find count limitations. We can set parameters where you have to find caches that were placed in a specific year. So we could say, hey, for this collection of treasures, they can only be found in caches that were placed in 2025. For example, only brand new caches. We can create collections of treasures that are only available to basic members or only available to premium members. So I suspect at some point we'll have a premium member only collection that is available to players. I'm trying to remember some of the other parameters, but it's a really broad array of kind of dials that we can turn when we're creating collections. And then the ideas for collections. I mean, we sat around here at HQ and we came up with
only imagine
quite a few of them, but we know that the community will have its own ideas. You know? And we're very much interested in learning, like, what do people like? What do people don't like? How can we tweak this system to make it even more engaging, even more fun, even more rewarding for players? And so we're just really excited to release it in March and get it in front of people and
see how it goes.
Have people go out and find some of these treasures.
So from a user's experience, like, and you said it's going to be available on the mobile app as well as online on the website, right? So from the user's experience, let's say I'm out on the mobile app, and I know things can change, but initially, if I went and found something and I earned a treasure that is part of a collection, would it show up just like a souvenir, like an icon, some kind of picture or some kind of like thing that?
Yes, it's going to be an image, and as it stands now, it's going to show up kind of like an in-app message. It'll pop up on the screen and say, "Congratulations, you
just found this thing,
this treasure." And you'll be able to go and see the collection that's available. You won't be able to see the ones you haven't found, but you'll be able to see the ones you found, and you'll be able to learn, like, how do I find the other ones? What do I need to do in order to complete the collection? And you'll be able to find some information on how collections works. And for those who maybe don't want the notifications to pop up on their mobile app or on the web when they log caches, there's a little button that you can turn the notifications off if you want. We really tried to make it, not everybody loves everything. And so we're trying to make a little flexibility. I'll say, as somebody who has played with this system for a couple of months now, I've got it on my phone. I love it. And
Okay.
I have found that it's like, oh, I need to do this to go complete this collection. Like, those are the caches that I'm going after because I want to get the moment and I want to see if I can complete them. And knowing how a lot of players out there play the game, I suspect that a lot of people are really going to enjoy this.
Yeah.
And so we're excited. It's very rare that we bring something significant to geocaching. We're always adding, we're always optimizing, we're always making changes, but we also are really cognizant about, we don't want to change the game.
No.
So we're not really making massive changes to the underlying game of geocaching. We're really trying to augment it. How do we add a layer on top? And so this is something that it's a nice step. It's new. It's something that we think people are going to enjoy, and we figured it would be a really fun way to celebrate 25 years of geocaching by giving the community something new to play with.
Yeah, we'll touch on that in a little bit. That is a big deal, 25 years of geocaching, and this is a great way, along with some other things that you have planned. But I just, this is a pretty big announcement because if people are going out there hunting these treasures, and so will it be an option to show off your sort of badge of honors and your treasure collection to your friends so they can be jealous and say, hey, I gotta go find this. Bob down the street has the whole collection.
It will be.
Okay.
But I don't think we'll.
And we'll return to the interview with Brian after a short break. The geocaching world is a big one. Over 3 million geocaches hidden in almost all of the countries around the globe. Millions of geocachers from all walks of life creating, hiding, and finding a huge diversity of geocaches. One of the goals we've had with PodCacher from the very beginning is to bring this wonderful world closer to you and drop it on your doorstep. We strive to summarize, distill, and glean the best of the geocaching world and bring it to you via our podcast, website, and occasional videos. We want to make it as easy as possible for our creative, intelligent, and good-looking listeners to stay informed, entertained, and inspired on all things geocaching. If you want to play a huge role in helping to make this happen with a small investment each month or once per year, then head on over to podcacher.com/club to get all the info you need. You'll learn about the many special perks we give to our club members, including path tags, members-only shows, a private Facebook group, and much more. That's podcacher.com/club.
PodCacher email.
First up in PodCacher email, we heard from two people with an idea to help us celebrate 900 PodCacher shows.
First, Tim, also known as Merlin1392, wrote this. Hey, PodCacher team. Thank you for the Happy New Year email on my happy birthday day. I'm saving the date for March 15th, but no, I will not be able to make it to the West Coast.
Aww.
I'd still be interested in celebrating with you. What if we hold an event and have all the attendees shout out our congratulations? Maybe happy 900th or congratulations, PodCacher.
Yeah, that's good.
The snow should be gone. Spring will be arriving and the temps warming. I'm thinking just a quick gathering of area cachers at a local park and the shout out. My congrats.
All right. Very cool. And we also heard from Laszlo, also known as Paleo. Hello, Sunny and Sandy. Thank you for your kind letter, New Year's greetings, and interesting information. So I think I will organize a meeting in the capital of Hungary in Budapest on March 15th, 2025. I wish you all a happy New Year and good health and happy caching. All right.
All right. Now, so first of all, you heard them both mention a Happy New Year email.
Yes.
And if you also got that email, then you know what to listen for.
Are you listening?
To be entered into a drawing for a prize. Mm-hmm. And if you're not on the mailing list and you don't want to miss out on geocaching information or future contests and more, you can sign up at podcacher.com/insider.
Yep. Hey, next we want to thank both of them for offering to host an event on March 15th to help celebrate our milestone of 900 shows. Mm-hmm. Maybe you too had that idea, and since you can't make it out to San Diego, we'd love that. It'd be awesome to have people all around the world celebrating with us. It's sort of like, instead of a worldwide flash mob, it's like a worldwide PodCacher celebration event.
That's right.
Yeah.
Now, just a couple things to keep in mind. You can't link to podcatcher.com or specifically mention our podcast in your event description. And that's due to Geocaching HQ guidelines. So we recommend sticking with our geocaching name, Team PodCacher. Like our event here in San Diego will be called Celebrate 900 Shows with Team PodCacher.
There you go.
You could use something like that. We want to be mindful of the guidelines.
Yeah, we do. Also, if you can record an audio greeting from your group somehow, I mean, even just on a phone, it'll work. That would be awesome. And we'd love to see photos from your event as well. All right. Thanks so much for helping us celebrate PodCacher 900 shows.
We want to send a shout out to our friends over at Path Tags. We are very excited about our latest annual PodCacher Club member collectible tag that is arriving this week. We have created lots of Path Tags over the years for ourselves, for WWFM events, and for our club members. We love that Path Tags are cool, creative, unique, collectible, tradable, and very affordable geocaching items. They're great for many geocaching situations. And by the way, for the month of January, you can get 10% more tags on any order. And that's valid on refills, starter kits, and change orders. And remember, if you don't have a design yet, you can still place an order. Just select the Order Without Uploading a Design button on the Upload tab. And they can hold orders for around 45 days pending artwork. And this allows you to take advantage of a special offering, even if you do not yet have a design ready. So get on over to pathtags.com to take advantage of the special offer and join in the Path Tags fun. All right, let's get back to the interview with Brian Roth.
So will it be an option to show off your sort of badge of honors and your treasure collection to your friends so they can be jealous and say, hey, I gotta go find this. Bob down the street has the whole collection.
It will be.
Okay.
But I don't think we'll have that ready by launch.
You're right.
But it will be. So you'll be able to see all the treasures you've collected, all of the collections that are available to you. But you won't necessarily be able to see the treasures that your friends have collected unless they decide to show it to you on their phone or something like that. But that's something I literally had a conversation with one of the engineers today about just that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that is probably going to be one of those things that happens at an event. Like, hey, have you seen my collection on my phone here? And show it to all the jealous people around. It's like, how did you get that? That is great. That's fantastic.
Yeah. What did you have to do to get it? And when we actually start experimenting, which I don't expect in the early days of treasures, but when we start experimenting with regional souvenirs, it's like, what do they have in New Zealand or Germany or Switzerland
and
that
if
we
I
don't get
travel,
here in the United States? And it's like, we know that people travel for geocaches.
Sure.
We'll see. Will people travel to go complete a collection or to get access to a special collection? We'll find out at some point, but not in the early days. We're going to start slow. It's V1. The plan is to improve this platform over time and just make it better for the benefit of the community.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited. March. That's too far away, Brian.
You telling me? I agree.
You make the announcement out here in January. The year's just started, and it's like, okay, how soon can March get here so I can start this thing? This is exciting stuff.
It's true.
What a way to kick off the year. But you just touched on a couple other things. This is the year, 25 years of geocaching, formerly Groundspeak, now Geocaching HQ. It has been a wild and crazy ride. Congratulations. Looking forward to... Now, you've got several other things going on this year, right? Other ways to celebrate as well?
We do. Well, not only is it 25 years of geocaching and Geocaching HQ, but this year's 20 years of PodCacher.
Yes.
So I think that it's an extra special year for all of us because not only does Podcaster have to celebrate and HQ have to celebrate, but this is a year of celebration for the global community, and there's so much positivity and so many reasons to celebrate. I mean, I understand that it's 20 years of Podcaster, and you folks are in March around the time when we launch Treasures. You folks are going to hit 900 episodes.
Can you believe it? 900. That's a crazy number. Yeah, in March. So that'll be
it's a staggering amount of content.
it's
and really, what a gift that you and Sandy have brought to the community with PodCacher. 900 episodes. It's remarkable, and so congratulations to both of you.
Well,
and Sean, of course, as well, because I know he plays a very special role.
Well, 20 years ago, we decided this is an interesting enough topic that we should be talking about it. And so we started the podcast. And if you go back to some of our older shows, you'll hear us talking about geocaching with paper binders of paper and Palm Pilots and a BlackBerry, I think, one episode. I'm kind of ashamed of some of those. They sound horrible compared to our newer shows. But Sandy and I were stumbling over words, but it has been what a wild and crazy ride it's been. Now this year you're also going to be doing how many? You've got a lot of large events going on, right? This year
there are a lot of megas, gigas, and block parties this year. So I think the most we've ever had in terms of megas and gigas was in the low 60s, like 62, if I recall correctly. Hopefully I got that right. Community team, I'm sorry if I got it wrong. But this year, there's more than 100 of those large events taking place, megas and gigas and block parties already published. I think last I saw was like 102 or 103.
Remarkable.
That's a lot, and that doesn't even include the 40 to 50,000 small events that will take place around the year. But one of my favorite aspects of geocaching is the events because it's about the people. And it's about, getting to meet people and celebrate with people and just, talk about the game and talk about how we play and the impact that it's having on everybody's lives. And to think that there's going to be so many of these big events all over the world in 2025. We're excited. We're excited to get out there and celebrate with the community. Yeah. I'm working on my travel schedule now.
I was going to ask, you're going to be out there at some of them? Yeah.
I will. So as of now, I haven't booked my flights or hotels yet, but I'll be in Yuma in a couple of weeks.
Oh, you will
for the Yuma block party.
Yeah.
And then I'll be in Prague in May for the Giga, and that'll be a really big one. And then I haven't really figured out the rest of my schedule for the year, but
you got to pick and choose.
It's not a bad problem to have to get to go and celebrate with the community. But we're going to send HQ lackeys all over the world this year to attend the events and celebrate locally wherever the community is at, almost wherever. It's kind of hard to cover everywhere.
Yeah, for sure. And you've also got some announcements about the Geocaching International Film Festival, right? I mean,
indeed. We are very excited. I don't have the specific details. Those will be announced later in 2025, but GIF is coming back in 2025. We're going to do it again and hoping to see some really cool geocaching content created by the community as we have in so many of the past GIFs. It's one of my favorite events, and I can't wait to see what people come up with.
I know.
We're excited to have it back. It's really just a wonderful event for the community.
I have never been ceased to be amazed at the creativity and the resourcefulness that people come up with to watch those videos. And I remember early on, we would go somewhere, we would watch it on a big screen and all that. But the availability to just watch it after the fact on YouTube and be able to see what people have created, in their part of the world is just fascinating. It's really, and they're memorialized for people to watch some of the old ones, maybe get inspired and do that. Anything else going on?
I still share some of the older videos that really had an impact on me, help me frame the way I think about the game or the impact. And, I have a couple of links that I send out to some of the older films, and, one of the things we do here in Seattle is there's a theater, and we rent out the theater, and we get an event, and we bring people together and eat way too much popcorn and watch the films and laugh and smile and cheer. And it's
great.
something that I'm looking forward to having it back, and I think people all over the world will be as well.
Yeah.
And then other things to just mention is that community celebration events will be coming around again in this year. They're eligible to be hosted between January 1st and December 31st of 2025. And as of now, there's more than 800 community celebration events.
800. Wow.
More than 800 events. And I dare say it's impossible to go to all of them, but everybody should try and make it to at least a couple, because they're always a lot of fun.
Well, we're going to have an event out here in March, as you mentioned. It's going to be our 900th show. So it's going to be out here in San Diego. If anybody wants to book a flight now out to San Diego to come celebrate with us. Actually, some of our listeners wrote back because we just sent out a newsletter, and they're actually going to be setting up events in their local area to celebrate our 900th show.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
So are you going to celebrate? You're going to have an event? Record live the 900th?
I hadn't thought about sometimes we get pieces of recordings, but I hadn't thought about that. Hearing all the people come to the last time we did it, we held it at a huge park near Mission Bay. Our 800 show was for that one there. Yeah. But we'll see. It's still coming together. We still have till March, and now we have something else to celebrate. This Treasures. I am so excited for that. Maybe by the time we have our event, the Treasures will be live, and we'll be going around finding more things for collections. Yeah.
When is your event?
I think it's March 15th, I believe. I'll have to see for sure. And then once we announce that, we'll make sure people have time to book their flights if they want to come out to sunny San Diego.
Fair enough. Yeah. The first collection is scheduled to be released in early March.
Okay.
With the caveat that, assuming everything goes according to plan, which it doesn't always, the plan would be for early March, and we'll release more information as it gets a little bit closer, and as our let's say our release confidence gets a little bit higher. But it's really close. I mean, I dare say we could release the feature set now and it would work, but we want to polish it. It's first impressions. It's V1, and while we acknowledge it's V1, we still want it to be awesome, and so we're working on it.
For sure. Yeah. And I'm just speaking off the top of my head. I think it's March 15th, but maybe I'm thinking of the Ides of March.
Beware the Ides of March.
Right. But we'll see. Well, Brian, it's always a pleasure chatting with you. Thank you so much for taking time out. This is exciting. It makes me wonder what other things you've got simmering over there at Geocaching HQ, because this one must have been going for a while before you can announce it. But what exciting times. Yeah, this is potentially a possibility of really kind of changing the landscape of the game. Like you said, not the foundation of it, not the getting out there, exploring and finding physical caches, but the fact that something else that's virtual can be tied to a physical cache. And again, around the parameters that you set, can make it very exciting and challenging for people to get those collections and collect all the treasures. Very excited, Brian.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate podcasters spreading the word and helping us share it with the community. We're super excited and really just can't wait to put it in front of people and see what the community thinks, and get to watch people experiment and play with something that we've put a lot of time and love and attention into. And so, if all goes well, there will be so much to celebrate in 2025, and we're really looking forward to it.
All right. Yes, very, very much looking forward to it as well. All right, Brian, take care. Once again, thanks for taking the time to chat with us, and we'll catch up with you later.
Sounds great. Thanks, Sonny. Take care. Cheers, everybody. Happy geocaching.
PodCacher, games and contests.
Here at PodCacher, we love to play games and contests that gives you guys opportunities to win Groovalicious swag.
And it's time to continue to give away prizes in our worldwide postcard contest. And
Can I say something?
Sure.
It is so hard to pick the winning because they're good. I mean,
they're all really good.
They really are. I mean, first of all, I want to say thank you to all those who took the time to get the postcard, write it with your hand in pencil or ink, put a stamp on it, get it to the mailbox, and then get it on out here. But there is something very satisfying about this tangible piece of paper that one of our listeners touched, wrote on it, and then got out to. But I'm just telling you, there's so many good ones. We're like, oh, I don't know. We
wish we could give each one of you a prize.
Yeah.
But there's too many of you.
Yeah.
But we read every single one.
We did.
And we really enjoyed them.
Yeah.
And each of us have picked 3 that we liked for different reasons. And so a total of 6. And we announced the first 2 winners on last week's show. Yeah. And today we're going to announce 2 more winners.
And if you want to see the pictures,
they're in the show notes. They're in a set on Flickr.
So if you want to see them, you can go check them out. But these are fun. A wide range.
Yes.
A wide range.
Very wide range.
And that's one of the reasons I picked the one that I did. Okay.
So the first winner is a postcard from Salem, Oregon, sent in by Subway Mark.
All right.
And this one has to win the prize of most people on the postcard. You'll see what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And this was a handmade postcard, and it was like the ones used as log sheets at an event. So here's what Mark said. Dear PodCacher, this is one of the log sheets I used at my event for World Postcard Day. He obviously made multiple ones, and there's lines for people to sign. I made it a train theme, and I handed out postcards of old streetcars, to all attendees. The front of this postcard are pictures of geocachers of other events in Salem and Albany. So that's in Oregon. So there's a bunch of pictures of huge groups of people from all different kinds of events.
That's cool.
Keep on cashing, and that's Subway Mark from Salem, Oregon.
Thanks, Subway Mark. The one I have comes from, it looked like Champaign, Illinois, right? Yeah. And what's on the front is a picture of an old State Farm Insurance Company building in Bloomington, Illinois. And down at the bottom, there are pictures of really old-looking cars, right? And I thought, is this a replica? But here's what it says on the back. This came to us, by the way, from Direwolf 821. And it says, hey guys, I found this postcard at an antique flea market. EC Crop made postcards from 1907 to 1956. I'm estimating this postcard was made around 1930 or so.
Nice.
State Farm was founded in Bloomington, Illinois, where I live, in 1922. This building still stands, but no longer owned by State Farm. That's impressive. And again, this is, you can tell by the look and, the smell.
That it's an old postcard.
That's an old postcard. So there you go. If you heard your name called on there, you can pick from the PodCacher prize vault, and you get a pick. Again, apologies to everybody else who's not going to be called, but listen to a future show. We have 2 more, right?
2 more winners.
2 more winners. So it might be you, and you'll just have to see.
Geocaching milestones.
Here at PodCacher, we love to celebrate milestones and achievements of geocachers from all around the world.
And we spotted that Emily Renee had posted a milestone on Facebook last week. She said, I'm celebrating my 19th geocaching anniversary today with some fun coastal wood finds with my Scott. I'm so grateful for 19 years of friendships, adventures, and challenges.
All right. Hey, that is a great milestone. Certainly worth celebrating. Let's go ahead and call in the PodCacher studio audience and let's celebrate with them. All right, guys, that's going to do it for today's show. Hey, thank you for being part of the PodCacher audience and coming back each week. Do us a big favor, though. We could still use promotion. Get out there and let other people know about PodCacher and the geocaching goodness we bring you guys each and every week. And get out there and find those caches, but stay safe and keep on caching. Bye.
For Well, that's it for the show today. We hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to visit our website at PodCacher.com. You'll find our show notes, useful links, and tons of resources. We always love to hear from you. Our email is podcatcher@gmail.com. You can also call the PodCacher hotline at 760-300-3633. Find out all the ways you can contact us at podcatcher.com/contact. Till next time, stay safe and keep on caching.